All right, yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and get started. So it's myself, Anthony, and Roger will be running the session today, and just going over some quick tools that you can look through in Blueprint that'll just help you save some time and hopefully save you some money. Again, this is entitled Time Saving Image and Data Features. All right. So as mentioned, we're just going to talk about some quick features that can help you save you some time and, like I said, hopefully some money. So basically, what I wanted to do here was kind of just bring up some things. As you go through, you do things, and you may realize, oh, I forgot to do that. In which case, you know, try to save you from having to re-upload everything. Just go back in and make a few minor tweaks here and there, and then you can re-upload what you need to do. So the first thing I wanted to touch base on is groups. Now, groups obviously have a big part in what we're doing, especially with school photography, or even like sports and uploading those team pictures. But so let's say you've gone through and you forgot to you've uploaded the images, the individual subject images, and forgot to upload those groups. So the point is here, you don't need to worry about it. You don't need to re-upload everything. You don't need to even like re-upload all the data if you have that data set built in. So let's say you have the homerooms built, already set up, already uploaded. You have the teacher already uploaded in the data set within the groups there, or excuse me, within the subjects. You can actually, there's a feature in Blueprint where you can go in and under the settings, you can actually select to group the subjects based on a certain field. All right, so you can go in and select to, in this case, we're going to group by grade. So you can go into the job settings, and then go into the you can choose to then go ahead and group based on the that data field that you want to group them by, and then the system will go ahead and generate those groups, create those groups out of that section. And then from there, once you have those groups created, you can just go in and just add in the images into those group sections, and then all the subjects who are already assigned or had that field designated to them will then be uploaded. We'll have those images uploaded for them. All right, moving images between subjects. So obviously this is a big thing. This, either whether you're tethering or even doing like QR imports, or even just doing like a data import where you're uploading images and you realize, oh, I've gone through, I've uploaded all my images, and for one reason or another, little Tommy's image wound up on Jane Doe. Obviously that's the wrong image. So what can you do there? It's not something where you don't need to go ahead and delete all the images. You don't need to re-upload the images. We have a very simple and effective tool where you can just go in and drag and drop the images into where you need to put them. All right. So again, we get to that section. You don't need to re-upload. What we can do is just a simple drag and drop. So you just grab the image and then just drag it over to the subject you want to move the image to, and then just drop it in there. All right, so quick, simple action to help definitely save you some time, and save you some grief there if you have any issues. Um, all right. The next thing I want to discuss here is with filtering images. Now, we have a whole set of filters built into to Blueprint that help you sort out images on how you want to, basically for whatever you may be looking for. If you're looking for subjects that have images, you want to sort those out. You can go ahead and sort by groups, no images, no groups. And then orders and no orders. So we have different fields set up there that you can actually go ahead and choose how you want to filter out those subjects. You can also do so, and just kind of jumping over to my next slide here. As I mentioned, you can filter by subjects with or without images, uh, with or without groups. filter by subjects with or without yearbook images. So this is a neat little nice little thing here. So obviously you're having your subjects go in, select yearbook images, and you want to know who didn't select the yearbook image. You can just go back in to the sort to the subjects there, do a filter, and find out who didn't select the yearbook images, and then you can manually go in there and just assign the yearbook images for those subjects. All right. Let's say you wanted to find out when images were uploaded. Like if you're doing retakes and you want to know whose retakes images have been uploaded, so you can actually then do a sort of when the images were modified or uploaded. So you can actually do a filter based on, let's say, you uploaded your first set of images on January 25th, and then on January 26th you uploaded a second set of images, and you want to look at those original image uploads to see who still needs to have essentially a new image uploaded. You can just do a filter by the 25th, and then find those subjects there. All right. You want to do a sort by primary image. What that means is you can go ahead and click to sort for the sort in the images section. You can sort by the primary image, and this will actually show you all the subjects that have images and what their primary image is. All right. And then you can also locate images through a specific camera. So after the images are uploaded, there is metadata pulled in from those images that will tell you which camera took the pictures. So you can actually go and filter by those specific cameras, and one, make sure they took the correct pictures. One, make sure, and then the second, make sure the lighting is correct. So you can actually filter out by those specific cameras. And the good thing with that, once you do that filter, you can also then choose to edit those images. Uh, for those specific cameras, so like I said, if they're too dark, you can go ahead and edit those images and lighten them up for on just those set of images. So that'll save you a lot of time in having to sort out and fix those issues that may come up. All right. So the next thing I want to touch base on is just some marketing fields that may help you save you some time. So obviously with our marketing, we have a great feature set where you can send out emails to your customers. Obviously when a job is available, or for letting them know to order for like holiday specials, things of that nature. And there are some tools that are, or excuse me, some sections that are built in to Blueprint, where if you put in information in there, it's going to help out that marketing for you. So what we're talking about here is like first name. First name is a good one because this helps you target specifically like the subject. So when we're sending out those emails, you can say, "Hey, Bob, your images are available." So it's effective targeting those subjects. So it's not just a generic, here are your images, and you're actually specifying who you're pointing that email to. Phone number and email address. Obviously, these are key. Email marketing is something we've been doing for years here. But now with Blueprint, we've had the ability to do text marketing, and that's where the phone numbers are going to come in big. And so that's where, if obviously this is all dependent on what the school will provide you, but if you can get those email addresses and the phone numbers for text messaging, that's going to greatly improve your odds in targeting and in generating greater sales through the marketing. All right. The organization field, where we can put in the school information. Again, this is another tool to help you kind of target to specific specific subjects. Custom data 1, 2, and 3. Now this is these fields. Obviously, these custom data fields don't have a specific set there, but let's say you wanted to put some more information in there. You wanted to tell them something within the email. that you can just send out directly for each subject. So if you want to have like subject specific information that doesn't fall under any other category in the subjects lines there, you can use your custom data, and then we can use those custom data fields as well, along with everything else to send out within the marketing. All right. Photo session date is another neat little one that not many people are aware of, but we do have that photo session date option in again in the subject information, where you can go ahead, enter in the specific photo session date, and then when those emails come out, you can say, get ready for your pictures being taken on February 2nd, 2021. And then so they'll have that specific targeting date listed there for them. All right. So then the next field I want to touch base on. So we've gone through some different things in terms of like filtering, moving around data in the in Blueprint, but I wanted to next touch base with exports, because we get a lot of questions on the exports. A lot of what we're dealing with is a lot of like PSPA exports. All right, so so while when you first log in, you first start using Blueprint, you're going to see we don't have technically a built-in PSPA export, but we do have the means to create that PSPA export, and that's something we could always just go in and help you with creating that export. But so you basically, what you'd be doing is you'd be using our subject data image export that's built in, and you can go ahead and set the fields to what you need for the PSPA. Now, the PSPA always varies depending on the on who's looking for it. So that's part of the reason why we don't have like a built-in PSPA export. But that's again, we give you the tools so you can go ahead and build that out. So then you can go ahead and just set the fields that you need. So one of the one of the big things is the index .text file. So more often than not, what I'm hearing is when you're building out that PSPA export, you're going to need a text file, not a CSV file, which is fine. We can just go in to the section there, build that out, and actually choose to create that as a text file when it exports, and then you can go ahead and name that as index, which is generally what the PSPA export will want, is a actual index file. So you can go ahead and choose that. Within there, you can also, as you're going along through the process, you can also choose to, what information or you want to export and what image types you want to export. So, obviously for a PSPA export, we're going to be exporting yearbook images. So when we're going through the filter, we can go in and select to choose the yearbook. Yearbook 1 or yearbook 2, however many yearbook images you're exporting, and we can export those as part of the PSPA export. All right, and then the option to set the fields to export. So, and what we're talking about here is, with the PSPA, again, there's certain characters or certain fields that they're looking for to be included within that index file. So you can, if you want to export the organization, I know there's like a folder name export that they want that information in there, and then like students, like first name, last name, I believe grade is generally one that comes up a lot, and so you can create the select the fields that you want to include in the export. So it's not just going to export everything, it's just going to export what you tell it to export.
Hey, Anthony,
yeah.
Is there any way as you're going through this, you can pull up Blueprint and show us? Because this is be a massive thing that people will want to see.
Yeah, I can do that. Let me
Sorry to throw you for a loop.
yeah, yeah, give me 1 second here. Let's see
No problem.
here. All right, so it's pulling it up right now. Let's export PSPA. There we go. Okay. Let's do this. Let's. All right. So just jumping back into what we were talking about with building out that export. So this is a PSPA export that I had built out in our system. So here is where you can choose the subject date and images. You'll set your folder name there, set your location. But what I was talking about with the file name here, we can choose the set the file name index. The format here, we can go ahead and change that, like I said, to either text or CSV. One thing I didn't mention was also with the separator. Generally, when we're doing that, you do want to set this up as a tab separator. So that's where you can go ahead and choose that as well. All right, let's go ahead and all right, over here, once we click next, this is where you can filter out the specific information you want to include. So let's say if we want just information for subjects with a yearbook 1, we can go ahead and filter out those subjects in here. And again, with images, yearbook 1, and you can also, if you wanted to, choose specific groups that you wanted to filter out. All right, so click next. All right, so here's the fields that I was referring to in terms of the export. So these are all fields that are included in the data file. So if one thing to note, if those fields are not included, then if those fields are not like essentially uploaded, then they're not going to be available for you to select from. So it's going to have fields that you can choose in here that were actually uploaded into Blueprint. All right, so first name, last name, organization. These are fields you can choose to export there. All right, then from here, once you have that set up, we can go ahead and choose the images to export. So we can image selection from, we can just choose the filtered images, which is those yearbook subjects, which I believe was like 4. So if I choose that, then it's only going to filter for those subjects. Or it's going to include all the gallery images, and it's going to once again just match from those filtered subjects and the type of image that you're exporting, which is we want to export the yearbook 1. All right. Next, as we go down this process, you can choose how you want those exported. So if those are if those are PNG files you want to export, you can go ahead and just export those as PNGs. Great thing with that, if you do choose to export those as a PNG, you can also then choose to add a background to those. So you can actually, you can actually do that. Yeah, either way, if you're doing the JPEG or PNG, but you can choose to add a background in there. But yeah, so let's say, so you've uploaded PNG files, and then you want, obviously for the yearbooks, you want them to have a background on there. You can go ahead and as we go into the modify section, you can go ahead and choose to add a background specifically to those images. All right. Over here, I passed over this, that's where we were talking about that. But over here, when you're doing the that PSPA export, there is generally they want to split those up, let's say by like grade. So you can actually set it up so those exports, instead of those images, excuse me, instead of coming into one folder, are going to be split up into folders based on, like, let's say grade. And so you can go ahead and choose to split it up into subfolders and grade. And so each subject will be split up into a separate folder based on their grade. All right, and then again, as we scroll down through the modify images, that's where we can go ahead and choose, if you need to change the thumbnail size. I know we do get that a few times that, customers have asked, can I make those images smaller? And yes, you can do that. You can just set the dimension size here. Let's say if you want like a, small 800 pixel image, you can just put that image size in there. All right, and then you can choose if you want to crop the images. So if you've already cropped the images in Blueprint, it can go ahead and export based on that saved crop, or you can set a standard crop to export them as. All right, color correction. If you've done internal color correction, you can go ahead and choose that color correction. You can just leave it as no color correction if you want to just leave it as you've uploaded them. And then you can also choose if you wanted to change the tone of those images. So if you wanted to use a black and white export, you can do that as well. All right, and then over here, the last step is the file name. Now, a lot of times with the PSPA export, they usually want like a sequential filing system. So what we'll do is we'll select the sequential file name, and then let's say we want to start, depending on obviously how they want it, but you want to start with 1 and then pad it with some extra zeros, like you want like a 0001. We can go ahead and choose the padding size and then just export that from there. Now, here's the great thing about all of this. So we've gone through, we've created this export. Now we get to go ahead and save the export. So you don't have to continually create this export every time you need it. You can just go in, now that we've created that, click this save option, and then we can go ahead and save it as a new export. And then you can go ahead and just rename it here. So we'll just call this, oops. All right, so let's say if you have specific PSPAs for specific companies you work with, um, you can go ahead and create those exports and then label them as such. So you'll have that information. And then once we save it, then we just go ahead and click export. And then now it'll go ahead and it'll export the images and the data. And I don't know why this gave me an error, but we'll, obviously if you ever have that issue where you're on an export, it gives you an error, just contact support. We'll follow up and see what the issue is. A lot of times, if that does happen, it's due to a character in like a subject name that may be causing an issue. So it's usually a pretty simple fix. So obviously, if that does happen, just contact support and we can help you through it. All right. So I'm going to go back to the slides here for one moment. Let's see here. All right. So once again, there's the export, the saving the export, and then just a couple other things you can do here with the exports. You can export barcodes, QR codes, mug books, and Cume stickers. And again, with all these different exports, you do have certain customization options available that you can also then save those and use those for future use. All right. And so I'm going to actually now pass this over to Roger, who will go into discussing the green screen tool and retouching tools built into the image services, or excuse me, the image options.
Thank you, Anthony. All right, guys, I will be quick about this. Because these are pretty self-explanatory features that are just game changing for your workflow, your proofing. So green screen knockout tool, it's built inside the software. There's no exporting out to an external knockout service or anything like that. And this is all completely AI done as well. So there's no human intervention, so no long turnaround times. As soon as the images are done, the progress bar finishes and you sync those PNGs. And this is a non-destructive knockout. And what that means is that those JPEGs with the green screen images will stay on the cloud along with those PNGs. So that way you'll have both sets of images available to you. Runs very smoothly. We've had 0 to none, little, if any, complaints about it at all. Like I said, it's quick turnaround time. There's no waiting days or anything like that for your green screen images to come back from the lab or anything like that. And the other tool I want to talk about is our Perfectly Clear tool. It's our retouching inside of Blueprint. This is something you can do before posting your proofs to sell online, just so that way they have that little extra sparkle when the parents go and look at it, so that way they're more tempted to buy it because the image looks nice. Again, same with the green screen knockout tool. It's a quick turnaround time. There's no waiting for it, no extras service needed, no exporting out of Blueprint to bring it back in. like to keep it all in-house, and that's what we're really striving to do. The Perfectly Clear is part of a smart workflow feature. That's an add-on to Blueprint, and then our green screen knockout tool is also an add-on to that smart workflow feature as well. So if you have any questions about those, please feel free to reach out to sales or your client success manager, and they'll be more than happy to answer any of those questions. So let's see. We have about 5 minutes left before Alex and Tim are going to do their SPAC wrap up and their MVP prep for June. So let's see. Ray, you said are the add-ons actually? Yes, they are, and you would just need to get in touch with the sales team if you'd like to discuss what those charges would be.